Family, it's a lot of working components to this story, a lot of different layers and things to unpack on this one. But first off, I want to say R.I.P. to our young sister out of Ohio, Keimani Latigue, who died a tragic and horrific death, at the hands of her own father. Our young sister was raped, had her hands cut, and she was nearly decapitated, and what kind of devil would murder and unalive his own daughter and do these things to a child, let alone his own seed? You know what I mean? This is, a brutal and horrific crime. She didn't deserve to go out like this. And she was, she was 13 and it was almost her birthday. She would have been almost 14. This is just a sad and, horrific set of circumstances done by a devil, because truth be told, you got to be a devil. What else could you be to do these kind of brutal and heinous acts to a child, let alone your own seed? This is why we know that with that black mind, first and foremost, we know that the white man ain't the only devil we dealing with in all actuality. We got devils in the black community, because truth be told, the devil comes in many races, shapes, forms, and fashions, because we got some black devils lurking in the black community, truth be told, and this kind of, this devil and this degenerate should be held to the same punishment and torture he put our young sister through. If you get my drift, I ain't gonna speak too much on that, because when I go in all the way in, the algorithm tends to, want to block and, suppress the video. But, this was brutal and a heinous crime done by a devil. You know what I mean? He's nothing more than the devil, if you ask me. And now there was some things, the teachers were reporting our young sister, Keimani Latigue, was coming to school with, signs of abuse on her. One of her teachers reported, abuse coming from the home that she was staying in, and several students, classmates of hers, were reporting abuse as well, but it was falling on deaf ears. They were making the complaints. You know what I mean? Now, she was staying with her grandmother. She was at her grandmom's house, so it was definitely something going on there, if you ask me, for her grandmother, to be staying at her grandmom's house and her to be the legal guardian. So I got the audio and the video of this, horrific event that took place, claiming the life of our young sister, Keimani Latigue, and it's just, sad to me, a sad, set of circumstances done by, a true devil. If you ask me, he ain't nothing more, he's nothing but a devil. You got to be a devil to do these kind of heinous acts to a kid, let alone your own daughter, something that's your seed that came out of you, that you bore. And I got the audio and the video of this, family, and we're going to walk through and talk about it how we normally do. Fair use.
Reaction continues to pour in tonight as a community looks for answers in the death of a Toledo teen, Keimani Latigue, found dead in an abandoned home just days before her 14th birthday. That, as the man accused of her murder, her own father, remains hospitalized more than 100 miles away. Darnell Jones, who also goes by Darnell Ogletree, was supposed to be
devil. We need to get him and hold him to the same kind of punishment and torture he did to our young sister. That's what he deserved. You know what I mean? How they say, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. But let's continue.
He arraigned in Franklin County today on claims he fired at Columbus police yesterday. Police shot him, and he's facing felonious assault charges there. And here in Lucas County, where he also faces murder and abduction charges. And tonight we're hearing from Toledo's police chief about this case, which started as a missing persons case. 13 Action News reporter Alexis Means has been on this story from the start and sat down with the chief today.
Darnell Jones is still in a Columbus hospital after he was shot by police there on Tuesday. He's accused of killing his 13-year-old daughter, Keimani Latigue. Police found her body in an abandoned home on Miami Street.
Could he be brought back to Toledo today?
I don't know the timing, so I don't want to speak to it because I honestly don't know when he will be brought back. And I don't know if they're talking to him or not, because I don't know if he wants to talk to him. So there's a lot of things, but I know we sent detectives down this morning.
Chief Michael Trinley says this case has taken an emotional toll on the family, community, and officers.
It's probably the worst possible outcome of any one of these missing cases that we work.
He says when the teen was reported missing, officers interviewed family and friends, executed search warrants, and collected surveillance evidence in this case.
Sunday, we brought in cadaver dogs. We were out there searching and beating down the wooded area, and there's some things that led us to those directions, to those areas.
Keimani's father was interviewed.
Dad was interviewed. He gave us his version of the story. Eventually, we had nothing to say that was not true. those are things that happened later on in the week that we started saying some of the things he told us was not true. Why is he lying to us?
An autopsy revealed the girl's throat was cut. Tuesday, Columbus police, working in connection with TPD, found the suspect. Police say there was a confrontation and Jones was shot. Chief Trindley took issue with Columbus police, explaining why he believes this statement was unprofessional.
This case is one of the most horrific cases I ever heard. This is a 14-year-old that was murdered, raped, had her hands cut off, and her throat almost cut off. This is an absolute animal that came into our...
I agree with this officer. It's not a lot of times that I agree with officers because we see a bunch of nonsense going on, in terms of how these officers handle our people, the black community. But, this officer's right on the money on this one. I'm in alignment and I'm in agreement with him. You know what I mean? But let's continue.
Town.
He's releasing could be true details, could be false details. I'm not going to say one way or the other. But he's releasing details that somehow he became knowledge of that affects another police department's case.
There it is. That's why he's mad. This police officer right there, it sounds like he only mad because his agency, his police force, they go get to shine in the light on this one. And, damn who gets to shine in the light, because at the end of the day, that's our black youth, that had her life stolen from her, so we need these kind of details brought to the forefront and brought to the light, because many of the times the police work to, cover up pertinent details when it regards, situations, such as we have here. So I'm in alignment and I'm in agreement with what that other officer said, but let's continue.
Another police department's investigation, important facts.
This dude right here sound like he just want his agency, his police force to get to shine. Damn, that's our youth.
That actually allows us to confirm suspects, to rule out suspects, to do things in that investigation. Those are details that we would never release in an investigation. But let's talk about the second factor. How insensitive is that? He has no idea if the family knows any of those details. He has no idea. Our coroner hadn't done the autopsy yet when he's running and saying those things.
Well, I agree with him to a slight degree on that, but if that was my loved one and family member, I most certainly, rather have the details brought to the forefront and brought to the light instead of suppressed. But let's continue. I'd rather know, all the intricate details, the logistics of it. But let's continue.
Chief says his detectives hold on to information so they can build a tight case. I asked him if rape charges will be filed.
At this point, we have no evidence that would allow us to file those charges. That doesn't mean that evidence won't come later.
Alexis Means.
Everywhere, for me doing my research, everywhere, I looked up, says our young sister was unfortunately, raped, had her hands cut, and her throat nearly, her head nearly decapitated off of her shoulders, so, I don't agree with this officer right here. I think they just working to suppress it. So their, police force, their unit gets to shine in the light on it. Damn that, but let's continue.
13 Action News.
And just in, Columbus officer Brian Steele releasing a statement in response to what Chief Trindley said about the comments that he made yesterday. Steele says,
yeah, that officer, had a rebuttal against, the one I agree with in terms of the officer. He had a rebuttal on what the other officer was saying, but I rock with that, that one officer that said, that the people have a right to know, he don't agree with, suppressing evidence and things like that, because a lot of the time this is what we see. I cover a lot of these stories, and, a lot of the times the police and the news, leave out, information that, need to be told and put out there to the public. But, I also slightly agree, with the thing, that the family might not want it to be known. But if it was my family and loved one, I for sure as hell, would want all the intricate details, But in closing, I want to say R.i.p. to my young sister, Keimani Latigue, and my condolences goes out to, all of those people that really loved her and were really down for her, in terms of, friends and family, because this is, a sad situation, and there's a lot of intricate, running parts to this story, and hopefully, we get what is the real for real that, really went on. All of the logistics of, this case are exposed. But in closing, I want to, again say, I can't, state this enough. R.i.p. to our young sister, Keimani Latigue. She for sure as hell didn't deserve, the way she went out and made her degenerate father, get everything he got coming to him. He should be, held accountable to the same, torture and things he put our young sister through. Like they say, an eye for an eye, but, In closing, may everyone, her father, that done this, the devil that done this, and all the collaborators who seen things and sat on their hands and turned a blind eye to it. May everyone be brought to justice quick, fast, and in a hurry. Just my thoughts on the matter, but R.I.P. to our young sister. Peace.